Gotcha.
That's
Okay.
where I'm at with it.
Gotcha. Okay. I got a tape recording of Michael. Uh, I had a bunch of his phone calls when he was in prison. Uh, that we had got that we had gotten, and when he was talking about how um you were going to take this check from Shug, and then the next day he was gonna follow, like pretty much saying how he was gonna take this bag, I was gonna work Shug out of this money, and then they were gonna do whatever they had to do to him. Uh, what did he mean by that? Was that the intention when you got the $1 million from Shug? Was
No, I
to
don't know
to
nothing about that. That's the first I'm hearing of that.
Yeah, I'll
That's the
play it.
first I'm hearing about that.
I'll play what he said, and where he said, he gonna talk to Lydia, get her back in the fold, and he said, I'm gonna get her back in the fold. She gonna do this little whoop de whoop, and then she gonna come back in the fold. Is what he was saying
I
when he was
don't
talking
know.
to his attorney.
You
You don't
know,
know? Okay.
you got to understand something. Like I told you,
Uh-huh.
it's so much, going on, and everybody had different ideas of how they was going to maneuver me and do this or that. That's the first I ever heard of this.
Gotcha. So I'll get back to the question. Pretty much is, so when you took the $1 million sell a lead settlement or whatever,
No,
was
it
that
never
a
was
play
a
or
No, you got to
what was
understand.
that?
I'm talking about the $3 million that Suge told me that Jimmy gave him, and Suge gave me $1 million based
Okay.
on a good faith payment. That's what
Okay.
that
It
was. I
was
never
supposed to be
did
the
a deal for $1
payment.
million.
Okay.
Never did a deal
Okay.
for $1 million. And then
Now,
gotta understand something. They took the paperwork from us, and they can go look in the courts. Mark Givens
yeah.
took some paperwork, fraudulent paperwork, and tried to put it on the back page and said it was a settlement, and the judge threw it out of court. So if
You
anybody
threw it
wants to
out.
go
Okay.
and look that up, that's on record. I never did a deal for $1 million.
Okay. So, why did she give you the $1 million? What did he think it was? Was it a
A good
settlement?
faith payment? No, a good faith
Okay.
payment because we was going to try to work out some things. And then the next
Well,
thing I know, she'll file BK when we were supposed to go.
no, the next thing happened is Harry filed for divorce and said you have no rights to negotiate on his behalf.
No,
That's
that
the
was
next thing
after
that
the fact.
happened.
That was after the fact.
Okay.
Reggie, ever since the city situation happened and we've been covering it ongoing, it reminds me how important it is to have a good lawyer on your team. That's why I'm glad to bring to you Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm. They have over 1,000 attorneys operating in all 50 states, and when you are seriously hurt, your injury could be worth millions. Morgan & Morgan don't settle for the lowball offers. They fight for every dollar you deserve if you become their client. Just recently, they achieved some significant verdicts for their clients, $12 million in Florida, 34 times the highest insurance offer, and $26 million in Philadelphia, which is over 40 times the highest insurance offer. With Morgan & Morgan, there's no upfront costs and the fee is absolutely free unless you win. And it only takes a few minutes to see if you have a case. If you've ever been seriously injured, your case can be worth millions, and you're only a few clicks away from finding out if you could change your life. It's easy to start your claim now. You can visit forthepeople.com/bomb, or you can scan the QR code with your phone's camera in the corner.
Okay. So let's get into the lawsuit. So, you filed a lawsuit this week on the 18th of March.
That's correct.
And what is your? I see you prefer, and I noticed you laid it out pretty good. So, but what's your reason? So, are you looking for an attorney currently to take it on, or you plan on taking
No,
it
I
on
got an
yourself?
attorney. I got an attorney
Oh,
out of New York, Paul Schittler.
okay.
He's an attorney out of New York.
Okay.
He's a transnational lawyer to make a deal.
Okay.
I did it here in Houston because I resigned here in Houston. But you got
Correct.
lawyers
Okay.
coming at me. I just need them to settle.
Yeah. So that's your ultimate goal, is just to get them to settle.
Yes, because they don't, all what I have is, they need to take me serious. And I think a lot of people haven't been taking me serious because I'm out here. They feel alone. They underestimated me because
I'm gonna have my partner John right now read you the people that's all sued, and then we'll talk about them and your reasoning and what you want them to do. John, if
okay.
you can read the people that's been currently sued by Ms. Harris.
Okay, yes. The people notated on the lawsuit are Death Row Records Incorporated, Marion Suge Knight, Snoop Dogg, Interscope Records, Jimmy Iovine, Interscope Communications, Ted Fields, Time Warner, David Cohen, Universal Music Group, Lucian Grange, David Kenner, and Mickey Shapiro.
How
All
did
those
Mickey?
people. Uh-huh.
How did Mickey get involved? That's the only one I don't know anything about. I know he was the
Uh-huh.
attorney.
Mickey Shapiro is the one who went down and when Michael got sick in prison, he's
Okay.
the one who went down and that's how he negotiated an agreement with Michael for the 300,000.
Now, when you talk about Michael getting sick in prison, that's when in your film. I never watched the film, to be honest. I always hate to watch it, but my partner John asked, and he told me in that scene there was something where they alleged that Suge, or not Suge, that David Kenner tried to poison Michael. Is that the time that you're
Yes,
saying
that's
when he got sick?
yes.
Okay.
That's
Okay.
correct.
Okay. And so Mickey took over as the attorney, but you saying he did some trickery there towards you or towards Michael?
Well, I guess they thought that Michael was going to die, so he came in, and that's how he got the release signed um, for Michael to get the 300,000. That's why I said that's
Got
everybody's
you. So
accountable for
okay.
what they've done. Everybody that he named on the thing, they was the insiders. Based on
Okay.
everybody acted, and that was a conspiracy of everything that's going on with me suing now. Everybody had a part of what's going on in this
Got
case.
you. So why did you
Everybody,
name Snoop in the lawsuit?
because Snoop acquired Death Row Records.
Okay. So you do believe he is the owner
No,
of Death Row Records? You do believe
no,
that?
I don't believe that. I mean,
Okay. Yeah.
how is that?
That's
How is
why.
that the case?
Got you. Yeah. But that's what he claiming. So he gets dragged into it since he want to be the front man, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how that how that happened.
Yeah.
Death Row still has a
And
debt.
and to your point, that's one of the things that, and I know that's one of the things that Suge wants put on the table. That's glad it will be exposed.
Yes, and you got the powers to be. They all initiated what was going on. So
Gotcha.
that's how everybody got pulled in. Everybody plays a part in what I
Okay.
found, and I can prove it.
Okay.
I have the
So,
facts.
gotcha. So just to recap, your reasoning for filing the lawsuit is because number one, you was married to Michael Ariel, and y'all invested in the company. The 300,000 that was given to Ariel in
No, this ain't
1995.
got nothing to do with Michael. This
I
is
got you.
Lydia Harris.
Well, you being the wife of him at the time, so y'all 50-50 partners.
You saying that
You
what
and
I
Michael.
filed on the 18th?
No. 50-50 partners of the investment into Death Row.
You saying me and Michael 50-50?
Y'all were 50-50 partners when y'all invested into Death Row, or did he just invest into it on your behalf, or
Well,
was it
Michael
him?
was incarcerated, so at the end of the day, prisoners not able to do deals. So you know what I'm saying to you? So I don't
So
know.
you saying Michael never was a co-founder? Then it was you
No,
that was a
I'm not
co-founder.
saying that. You're saying that.
Okay. Okay.
What you're saying is that me and Michael was together. We was one. So if
Okay.
you want to call it 50-50 partners, you can. But,
That's what I meant.
okay.
And that's what I meant. Yeah,
Okay.
that's what I meant. Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm just trying to recap so
No, I know
people
what
know
you're
the
saying.
timeline.
Mhm.
Okay. So that's where we got the investment initially. So then the agreement that was done in '95 or '96 for the $300,000, you saying you had no knowledge of it, and
No,
that it was
that
done
wasn't
through
my agreement.
It wasn't your agreement, correct? I'm just recapping for the people.
Okay.
Okay. And then they got the 300,000, and you had no part of that agreement. You didn't give up any of your rights or whatever.
That now
And
you got it.
okay, and then later on in what the agreement for the $1 million, that was just a payment toward a good faith settlement or a good faith
No, it
payment.
was no settlement. We're not going to use the word settlement.
Okay.
Never was a settlement.
Okay.
There was no paperwork on that $1 million that Suge gave me. Because if it was, it'll be floating around right now.
Gotcha.
And you can put Suge on the phone. There never was discussed the agreement.
Got you. Okay. 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 And then attorney Givens, you said did some fraudulent act.
Yeah, Jimmy got
Now,
behind my back and tried to reopen up the bankruptcy, and I had a friend to go down to the court, and they the one let me know that he was trying to do something because it was during COVID time. And then I got the judge,
oh, you
and
talking about
we
recently?
did a
Okay.
Zoom call. And we
Okay.
did a
Yeah, you
Zoom
talking about
call, and the
recently?
judge got
Yeah.
on the judge got on the phone, and we did a Zoom call. And Givens was shocked, and the judge asked me, did I know about that he was trying to reopen up the bankruptcy? I said no. So she told Givens, don't come back in my court, and you're not opening up this bankruptcy.
Got you. But you talking like 2020 or 2021?
That's correct.
Yeah. I'm talking about when the $1 million settlement was done. Or not, you hate that word, and so I won't say it. That when the $1 million good faith payment was given to you in like 2005, I guess. Vice Ship, you saying because I heard Lamont was. We always thought Lamont, as I remember, was playing both sides. He was telling us one thing and then playing you and telling you one thing, because he had even kind of insinuated like you and him was in some type of relationship
Oh,
or
come
something.
on now. Never, the Monk Givens never disrespected me at all on no
Okay.
relationship type.
Okay. Okay.
None of that. So,
Okay.
and the Monk Givens ain't my type of guy.
No, I could.
So
Yeah.
I don't even know
Okay.
how that came about.
Okay.
For some reason, he might have
Well,
just,
the person I deal with, he likes to, he likes to clown a bit. So
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and
Okay.
the Mark Givens probably was working both sides because you know what? He knew a lot. The Mark Givens probably played both sides, and he had a lot of information.
Yeah. Well, I know he got socked in the stomach real good behind that back in the day.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, okay. So all right. Okay. So I guess we covered your reasoning for the lawsuit.
Yeah.
I guess you like you said, you're going after the big dog.
Listen, Reggie.
Okay.
There's more to come. Believe me.
There's more to come. Okay. My partner
And I
John
just
gonna
wasn't ready for the video interview. You know what I'm saying to you? But there's more to come, Reggie.
Okay, well, hey, you have the platform to do it with us, but let my partner. I don't like to exclude him because he's been waiting. He's been wanting to interview you for a long time. So let him ask you a few questions,
Okay.
and I think we covered, the basis of the lawsuits and what's going on. I think it's going to be good just to see all of this play out and open up, and I'm kind of rooting for you to get everything on the table and get it out.
Okay, I appreciate that.
Okay, John, go with your questions that you
Okay.
would like to ask us.
Okay.
It's yours.
Ms. Harris, thanks for doing this. I wanted to ask, obviously people know that with the previous lawsuit, you were awarded a judgment of 107 million.
Okay.
Did you, obviously, Suge filed for bankruptcy after that. Did you receive anything out of that, or did it all go to other people that made claims against Death Row at
All
the
the
time?
people that made claims, I never got anything from it.
Damn. Okay. Going back to, and I'll just touch on this a little bit if it's something
Mm-hmm.
that you feel like everybody knows and you don't want to talk about, that's fine. But Welcome to Death Row was really the first proper Death Row documentary that was ever done. Can you tell our listeners your involvement with the documentary? And I know you were interviewed in it, and I know you had a big part in it. But can you just share a little bit of insight about Welcome to Death Row and the thought behind putting that documentary together?
What happened with the Welcome to Death Row? I was the executive producer of that documentary, Release Savage, and my deal with him was for me to get all the people that would come out and tell the story. And halfway down the line, if I didn't pursue and get the people, then I wouldn't have been an executive producer. So what happened was I did everything to put everybody in place to come on there and talk. So that's how my involvement in that. I got him everybody that he needed. And I think it didn't come out for whatever reason the way it needed to come out. But I was the executive producer of that, Release Savage.
Okay. And to Reggie's point earlier, you were around obviously in the early days of Death Row. Um, are there any events or parties that you can tell us about that were good memories for you, whether it was an album release party or whether it was a company function or any of that? Are there any things that stick out in your mind when you think back of those early days?
When we did the Chronic album, and everybody came out. I mean, everybody was there, and then we did the Tasters party. Oh, that was some good memory days because I'm like saying, "Hey, it's on." But then everything took a turn.
Okay. And
Every,
I think that's what people, or at least for myself, that's what the pain. When I think about what happened and I read about things that happened, it makes me believe that you guys were around for the Chronic, and then soon after that, that's when Suge kind of stopped taking phone calls and stuff. Is that true, or were you around a bit longer, like into the Doggy Style album or Murder Was the Case and things like that?
I was around, but I never. You got to understand something. I never got involved with partying with them. You know what I'm saying to you? I
Mm,
never was on the scene like that. But me and Suge talked. You know what I'm saying? He would go down there to visit my ex, him and David Kenner. So when they said the phone calls stopped coming, I don't know what you're talking about, but it was like um, things started to change, when Michael started asking different questions,
mhm.
but it just didn't break off where they saying, "Oh, we're not going to talk to you all anymore." And then I got pregnant, but no, it wasn't. It wasn't like that.
Gotcha. Okay. And the reason I stated that was and I could be wrong on this, but I thought I remembered in Welcome to Death Row, they talked about there being a phone in the studio that was exclusive for Michael to call in, and that eventually that phone was removed from the studio at some point. I guess they may not have been very clear on the timing on that, but yeah, that's where I got that from. Um,
Oh,
Okay, and for people that they know about the lawsuit, but they're not going to go read the paperwork,
I
um,
know.
what would you feel like are the biggest differences between your original lawsuit in which you got the $107 million judgment versus this new lawsuit that you filed on March 18th?
Well, when you asked me the question, did I ever get paid from it, where it's going to show how the $107 million judgment was not alleged for me to get paid, you will show how the individuals who's going to be accountable for making sure that I didn't get a payment from the $107 million judgment. You will see. That's why you will see the fraudulent, and you will see the conspiracy and how they conspired against that $107 million judgment. And Suge will see too once it's all laid out based on how everybody was moving.
Hmm.
You know,
Okay,
Suge was used. I mean, he took one for the team
okay,
and
and
lost
it
nothing.
gotcha. And if everything works out the way you want it to work out, if everything kind of gets unveiled the way that you envision it happening, what is the best case result for you? Like, what are you hoping to gain?
To move on with my life and put this behind me and live my life. But I can't just give up and just let them take anything from me. And then everybody will be rewarded. And I don't mind helping whoever. I'm just not going to be taken advantage of. And I'm not afraid. And I know I'm fighting against the big boys, but I'm not afraid.
Okay. And so are you hoping to get that 107 million, or are you hoping just to get what you feel is fair? Is it I guess my question is it a monetary thing, or is it more of you want your credit for what you did?
No, it ain't about the credit. It's about me getting paid.
Okay. Okay. All right. Reggie, is there anything from
Oh,
from
I just
those?
want
Yeah.
that. How
Yeah,
much
go ahead.
would you how much would you estimate that y'all invested in the company uh, initially? What would you think?
I don't even know. I ain't never thought about that.
Okay. And how was the payments made? Was it done by checks or cash or what?
You have to ask David Kenneth that question.
Okay. So it went through David, and then David gave it to Shug, is what you said?
David. So you know, that was his job to make sure everything got done the way it needs to be done.
Okay. So about what time do you feel that David turned on Terrio and became more loyal to Shug?
Mm, I can't tell you the years, because David
Yeah. Because I know about like 94, 95, they started having me ride up in the car with, and I didn't even understand why. And I didn't even realize they started having me riding up to in the car to go with David when he would go to out to the prison in Lancaster or Palmdale.
Oh, you went up there?
I never went in. I just sat in the car and was riding with him. Never understood why. They never even told me why I was doing that.
Hey, you just got in the car and started riding, huh?
Yeah, they was like, "Hey, Richie, I need you to ride up then with David to he going to visit Michael."
I mean, I don't even know really where it went wrong because I'm gonna tell you, Reggie, it was love. You know what I'm saying to you? It was love between Michael and Suge. Suge was like a brother. I can't even tell you right today why they fight. You know what I'm saying to you? Because everybody was on the right track and understood what this was supposed to be. So you saying something that I don't understand how the divide and conquer came. For real. No, for real.
The Mercedes, it was a 500 SL that I remember was registered to GF Entertainment. Godfather, I guess that's it for Godfather Entertainment. Who decided to give that to Suge? Yeah, the one that Michael just was like a gift.
Yeah, yeah, Michael. I know Suge needed a car, and I know Michael said get Suge whatever he wants.
Okay.
Everybody got cars, and it got Dre what he needed. You know, I mean, if you look at it, Michael was really telling them, hey, how to run the business. We never thought that it would turn out this way. You know what I'm saying to you? Because Michael know how business is supposed to look, you know. And even when Snoop came along, you know, we wasn't focusing on Snoop. It was the DOC, you know. And then I was the one told them, hey, I don't know nothing about rap. I don't like rap. I said, but that guy here, y'all need to put some money into him.
And he was a Texas boy. And he was a Texas boy like you, right?
Yeah. So I'm just telling you how things turned. I don't know why they turned. You know what I'm saying to you? That's the question that, you know, everybody mad at each other right now, calling everybody out their names, you know. But
it's unfortunate, though. Do you know it was like 4 people that, I guess, 5 people that have all claim ownership of Death Row at one time. From Dick Griffey, the DOC, Suge and Dre, and now Harry and Lydia and David Kenner.
Hey, you got to look at it. If Suge trying to get everything off the ground, Suge's going to go to whoever he needs to get to the
That's true.
Level. You know that, Reggie.
Yeah, I know how to get down. Yeah. Well, I wish you the best, and you said if you get even 10% of that money, I know I don't know you like that, but you say you're looking for a person to help. You can help your boy.
No, Reggie. I'm gonna help you. You'll see what kind of lady I am. For real.
I heard. I to be honest, and when people like Jewel and they'll speak of you, and I could tell, sure, even when he speaks on you, it's always good things. I mean, I know I'll sit there and watch him make that remark, but I know Suge really wants to be a comedian. Most people don't get it and don't understand it. They take him because of his size and all that as a bully, but Suge is really a big comedian.
And Suge is a good dude. You know what I'm saying to you?
Yeah.
And a lot of people used to say, Liz, you're not afraid to have something to do, you know, something, have you killed? I wasn't afraid. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. One thing about it, if a person has a heart and they know where you stand and the things that you've done, Suge ain't stupid. You know what I'm saying to you? So that's all I kept knowing in my spirit. You know what I'm saying? If he's that type of evil guy, then he would have been had me knocked out. Not saying that I never heard that Suge wanted somebody to do something to me, but I didn't feel it in my heart.
Gotcha.
And that's the God honest truth.
Yeah. I remember the female that he was around. You got any stories of Paradise? That's the one that I remember.
Somebody from Texas.
Yeah, that always had most of the dealings with you guys.
Paradise, she loved this Suge. Yeah, you know, she was a cool girl. She really was. She loved this Suge, and it just said, hey, she was just another one, his girl.
So you didn't have a personal relationship, okay?
No, we were cool. We was cool.
Yeah,
she said, Lydia is the only person I trust around my man. That's what she told me. That's what she told me.
Oh, Paradise, she was crazy.
Yeah, and she would do whatever for sure. She really would.
Exactly. Well, we appreciate this, and like you said, the next time you come in California and you want to get in on camera, let me know, and if any people pick up on this,
I'm gonna be there soon. Trust me.
Okay.
And I'll give you a call.